You don't need a whole lot of ideas. I mean, what you need is two different kinds of ideas. Right now, you need some emergency life-saving ideas. Like, the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is though you were wounded in combat and I'm running the MASH hospital, you come in and I got to stop the bleeding and make sure that you don't die. All right, now here's exactly how you do that. You take the 5,000 list that you have, the best portion of that list, and that is your agent list, right?
Yes.
Okay. Write a sales letter, and part of this is boilerplate copy that I have memorized, so I'm going to give it to you quickly. It'll be on the tape, and then you're going to have to fill in the yada yadas. Now, each one of these letters will be computer generated so that they look personalized, as though they were individually typed. And it'll be something like this. June 11th, 1977, John Q. Everett, 123 Elm Street, Massillon, Ohio, 44646. Dear Mr. Everett, as you can see, I've attached a nice crisp $1 bill to the top of this letter. Why have I done this? Actually, there are two reasons. Number one, I have something very important to tell you, and I wanted some way to make sure this letter would catch your attention. Number two, since what I have to tell you concerns how you can double the amount of money you make on commissions or whatever it is, I thought using a dollar bill as a financial eye catcher was especially appropriate. Here's what it's all about. My name is Pamela Yellen, and I have recently developed a lead-generating, profit-making system that is so incredible. Now, what you want to do is you want to take 100 of those letters. Now, listen real carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is crucial. You do this with 100 letters, and you send those letters by priority mail, all right? So that they're going to arrive within 3 days. That's guaranteed. And you send a priority mail, and then you call them. When you call, you make it a person-to-person call to John Q. Everett from Pamela, and then you talk to those guys and see how many sales that you can close. Now, what you're going to find out is some of them are not interested, some of you can't get through, some of them are going to really like it, etc., etc. But as you get feedback, now when you write the next 100 letters, you're going to change it. But you're not going to change it through guesswork or intuition or gut feeling. You're going to change it because of real, honest-to-God field feedback, right? Then you do it with another 100 letters, and then you do it with another 100. And somewhere about that time, you're going to have probably about the best letter that you can write without getting some world-class copywriter to come in and do it. Then you go through the numbers. Now, it may not be that you want to continue mailing priority mail. Maybe you want to mail this package regular first-class mail. But whenever I'm in doubt, when I first worked with Sam and Leslie Fishbein, they had a real big problem. They've got 5 furniture stores here in Denver. They're about to open 2 more, but I started working in '88, and they were in sort of a crisis situation. And I almost always tell people in a crisis situation, if you haven't done it, mail a dollar bill letter to your existing list and then follow it up with a telephone call. Now, I don't want to hear any of this shit about how you don't like making calls. Make the calls and record the calls. And as you record the calls, wait till you capture yourself at concert pitch on a few of them. Then you use that as a training program for anybody else that's going to work for you. You know, you have Mary come in, you say, Mary, listen to these tapes. She'll hear you actually selling this at your best, overcoming the 10 most common objectives. That's how you get somebody to do it, okay? But the first thing that you need to do is you need to send all those people a dollar bill promotion, and believe me, it'll reactivate enough of them. Let me teach you something that'll really clarify things for you, okay? This is the utopian thing that could happen for anybody who's selling something. Let's say that there is a reporter for the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, the Wall Street Journal, or your local newspaper. And for some reason, he comes out to your place of visit to do a story. And he asks you all kinds of questions about you, and he asks you all kinds of questions about your business. And he falls in love with you, and he falls in love with your business. And he returns to the paper, and he sits down at his word processor, and he writes a glowing article about how wonderful you are, about how wonderful your product is, all the benefits of using it, etc., etc. And almost as a public service, he informs the people at the end of the article how they can get in touch with you. Now, that is a utopian situation, which is unlikely to happen. So if you want a guide for writing copy, you be that reporter. You be that reporter, and you write that, and then you have it set up and make it look as though it were an article that appears in the paper. Ads that appear to be articles that are article-like outperform ads that are obviously ads by a factor of about 5 to 1. And so then the utopian scenario would be, would it not, that someone read that and they knew someone that would be interested, they would rip that ad out of the paper, write on a Post-it note, Jim, this sounds great, Gary, stick it on the paper, and hastily hand address an envelope, and mail it to you, all right? And so, since that's not going to happen unless you make it happen, that's the way you should make it happen. Make it look like a killer newspaper article. And write it from the third person, the reporter's point of view. And when I asked him, he was very open, shared his files with me, and I called at random 10 of his customers, and this is what they say. Glowing testimonial 1, glowing testimonial 2, et cetera, et cetera. So now that I've taught you how to think about it, that can supersede a lot of other questions. That's the main thing that you want to do. And I'll tell you something else you can do. I'll give you a really good secret. Run that full-page ad in the Key West Citizen. Talk with a guy named Randy and mention my name. The Key West Citizen has the advantage of being a very small paper, only 10,000 circulation, but it's known all over the world. Therefore, you can buy a full-page ad in there relatively cheap. Plus, they will print tear sheets extra for you, front and back, you know, for a very nominal charge. They'll, you know, I don't know what it is now, 20 or 30 bucks a thousand. Then have your letters go from Key West. And you can say, George, saw this in the Key West newspaper while on vacation, thought you'd be interested, Jay. And the ad actually ran. And that makes a lot more sense. Add some validity.
Now,
wait a minute. And you want to do something else? Think about, and I've never done this, but think about it. Think about running in an English language newspaper in a foreign country. Think about sending it from over there. It's theater.
Now, I should do something like that even though I'm talking to carpet cleaners just to have the advantage of having actually ran. Even though it's not even going to be, no one in Key West is going to be the least of interest.
Well, yeah, the point is you're not going to get customers from Key West that's going to justify the cost of the ad. That's not the point. But it did run. This is an ad that ran in a Key West paper. Or you can use a smaller paper or whatever, you know. But I like Key West. You know, Key West gets like 4 million tourists a year and everybody knows it. And another thing, nice thing about it, it's true. I mean, the ad did run. It just adds something to it.